Switch from incoming, commercial power to the generator. Break before make. It's a dual, big knife switch, three pole knife switch. Uh, uh, Double throw, make before or break before make, and I can carry whatever the generator will handle in the house. And I've done load testing, and when I first got the 7.5 kW, and I can get your typical base load of the fridges, the TV and computer in a family room, and this is when I had an air conditioner, a window shaker, an air conditioner in a family room, well pump, oil burner, and even a dryer at a low power setting, low heat setting. It was all within the 7,500 kW or 7,500 watt. It has a little watt and has a little bar scale that tells you how much load you're running at, and it would handle all that stuff just fine. And even the 3/4 horse deep well pump we got here, that's what's really the limiting factor for how small a generator I could get by with, is they got to have 3-wire 220 and 4 kW. I had a 4 kW a long time ago. That was not, it was a little marginal. I get a lot of voltage swings, especially when the pump would kick on, the well pump would kick on. So I'm all set here. But the last couple of years, they've upgraded our power. We used to be on single phase power, and then our neighborhood, there's 2 ways into the area and two main routes for the power lines that come down this way. One's along the river, the Pawcatuck River, and the other one is on the west side of we're like a little peninsula here, Greenhaven Road, and they updated both roads to really all new high poles, and they trimmed the trees back, and it's all 3-phase now. The big reason being there's a sewer plant down on the river about a mile from here, and I think they're having an issue with their backup. They had backup generators, but they were getting old and decrepit, and they wanted to make sure they have more reliable continuity of power. So we got service from 2 different directions, 3-phase now, and occasionally we'll get an outage, but not for very long, because if it's something happens on one circuit, they automatically transfer over to the other, mainly because of the sewer plant, and we benefit from that. But that's something I have to do. I have to do the every fall and spring. I swap the positions of the generator and the snowblower, which one's closest to, right behind the front door of the garage. And it's time to put the generator in the back, and the ends, the big 17.5 kW is way back because it's just not running right now. I got the carburetor off it. It's been off there for an awful long time. And then the 7.5 kW, and then the snowblower was going right by the door. Got a little Ariens Compact 24. That's more than adequate for down here. And last couple of winters, if I ran them more than an hour or two, it was a lot. The way the snow went last year, we had a lot of rain and cold. Curious how this year is going to be. K1GMM AJ1G.
Yeah, K1GMM. Yeah, me too. I'm curious as well. I've got so similar as to the situation. The generator was buried, so that was my job, man, dude. I was hauling butt yesterday. I'm not going to bore you with what I ended up doing, but I went. I was balls to the wall from, I don't know, about 10:30 yesterday morning to almost 6 last night, trying to prep, rearrange things. I had to get the kayak lifted, set up a pulley system to pull. It's a fishing kayak, so it's fairly heavy. Thing weighs, 93 pounds, I think, 96 pounds. Well, probably close to 100 pounds fully rigged the way it is. So Got that suspended up on the rafters using a pulley network. And once I did that, I was able to get the garage cleared out. And yeah, the generator was buried, dude. I haven't used it in a long time. Well, what was it? I don't think I used it since last winter. I did use it this summer, I think. But, everything changed in there. And I got all the pellets in the garage, too. So there's 4 ton of pellets in that one bay, which takes up about a third of that bay. So I was able to get the generator. I got the generator placed now so I can easily extract it. Of course, the four-wheeler with the plow is in there ahead of it. I can always pull that out. It's not a big deal. But it's a Power Horse 7000, so it's a little bit smaller. It does well. Runs. I can run the hot water heater on that pump. Pretty much runs the whole house except for the stove, not all at once. So if I was going to heat up some hot water, I have to shut everything down, and yeah, it will heat the hot water. But it's a pain in the ass the way it's set up. I'd really like to get it outside into a shed and do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Into the box with a transfer switch and all those goodies. But I just don't, I keep telling myself, dude, why are you going to spend the money on that when you don't use it that much? The power, we rarely lose power for more than, I would say 12 hours at the most, but it does go out frequently. It's kind of a pain in the ass anyways. Yeah. Are you traveling? It sounds like are you going to pick up and head out? And I got a question for you on Greenhaven on the next go, K1GMM. Hey, good morning, Tim.
Yeah, okay. For some reason, I hit the power switch rather than the plate switch on the DX100, so I had to let it warm up again here. Where's my, oh boy, here's I'm going to crank more drive in here again. This thing's, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Happy Thanksgiving,
okay,
Tim.
there we go. I don't know.
If you're stateside, I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Still low on the grid drive here. Let me fake it out a little bit here. 2. Yeah, okay, got a little more grid drive and a little bit. I wonder what's something going on with this thing needs to be neutralized. I don't know. Oh yeah, what about Greenhaven?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. Greenhaven, is that the road that Norwest Marine is on?
No, that's River Road. It starts out as Mechanic Street up there by Route 1, by the railroad overpass or underpass under the railroad, where Route 2 and Route 1 come together, and then Mechanic Street goes down, and it goes past C.C. O'Brien's, bar,
Oh, okay,
sports
Tim. Got
bar,
it.
and a couple
thank
other.
you.
It used to be Henry's Chinese restaurant. That's now a bagel shop, and then a bunch of old row houses and factories, and things like that. And then you'll see WBLQ Tower on the left, and a couple of marinas. Norwest Marine is all down there, and then eventually, if you keep going, you'll there's like a little cove, and that is just past the sewer plant, which is inland on the west side of River Road there. At that point, you're on River Road, and Mary Hall Road is an intersection with a stop sign. And I don't know if you ever went down that far if you were going to the marina. And that goes over to Greenhaven Road, which comes down the west side of the little thumb-shaped peninsula we got down here.
Oh, okay. Okay. What is so if you head down the Pawcatuck River, right? Because I used to leave my boat at Norwest. So if you head down the Pawcatuck there is a big marina on the left-hand side, which would be the east side of the river, right? I thought that was called Greenhaven, or is that something else?
Well, actually, there's right across from that big old factory building, which half of it has been turned into condos and the other half is almost derelict right now. You remember there was there was a machine shop or something building, a smaller building with a rather than a 3-story brick building, there was a smaller building in the front of it. That one, the roof collapsed on it a couple of years ago, and it's been like an EPA site or something like that. And the northern end of that brick factory building is now very nice condos, and eventually they're going to
Tim,
do the rest of it. And then also they're going to. Well, the plan was to make that building that collapse into like a restaurant or something like that. But
people on AM guys swoon over the audio on this radio. I love this radio. It's never leaving my
that's
shack.
Norwest Marine right there, and then maybe a mile down the river on the right is Greenhaven Marine. That's what you might be thinking of.
Okay, so yeah, I got it all messed up. Once in a while we'd stop and we get gas at that. If you're heading down the river, that big marina on the left hand side, I think it's before you get into the outlet, you come out into Little Narragansett Bay. So I'm trying to remember. There's a big sucker there. What's the name of that one? That's on the westerly side.
Oh, I don't know I don't know what the name of the marina is. Actually, one of them is shut down. The one just below the WBLQ used to be WERI AM tower. All those pilings or something happened there. I don't know if the town took possession of that or something. And it's not active anymore. But there is one up on Beach Street. Is it the Beach Street Marina? I know that. That's on the westerly side. That's right above. That's just to the north of the. Let's see. There's some. Yeah, there's a couple of them. I'm trying to remember now. There is still a marina south of the tower, but I can't remember the name of that. But they're all
Flex
accessible
5000
from Beach
is
Street,
an
and then you
oldie
have the
but goodie.
cemetery in Westerly on the left.
I know a lot of guys
And on the
regret
right,
selling
you
that
have
as
what's
well.
locally known as the Brink. If you probably passed by it. There's a channel that goes way in. It's a straight as a string, and narrow. It was dug, I think, in the 60s or 1970s. Somebody was going to build a marina there. It never happened. That's like a wildlife reserve now. That's just south of where I live on the Greenhaven side. I can almost walk down there. It's a good fishing spot. The channel comes right in along the shore there. And good bass fishing in there in the spring, and maybe even now. Someone said the bass are back up in there now, the ones that are hanging out and holding over. But yeah, there is a Greenhaven Marina below that, and that's the last one, on the Connecticut side. And then you get to Osbrook Point, and the land kind of fades around to the right towards Barn Island. And then, of course, otherwise you head down to Avondale, and let me see. There's a few private right across at the Avondale marinas. There's some docks in Greenhaven down there, but they're all private. But that's below the Greenhaven Marina.
Okay, somebody jumped in there right at the beginning and doubled with you for a second, so it's coming your way, K1GMM. Avondale, that's the one I was thinking of. That's the one, dude. You said it. I couldn't remember the name of it. Avondale. I know that. Jumped right out at me when you said that. Really quick, funny story. You know what that river's like, right? So my brother had a Grady that was fully rigged. He left it in Norwest Marine. And my dad went down. And Jeff, my brother Jeff, he has his captain's license and ran a charter out of there. Down on the shore, light tackle charter, and did all kinds of things. Really successful. He actually had his own lure company, which you probably even heard of. I can't remember the name of it, but he sold it, made a lot of money, had made some killer lures, right? So, and flies and stuff like that. And he doesn't do it anymore. He's all out in Western New York. He's shown me pictures of these steelhead and stuff he catches all on the fly. Freaking ridiculous, dude. Absolutely ridiculous. Football, it's like an elongated basketball. I mean, these fish are freaking huge. All in the river. He fishes all year long, even in the wintertime out there. But anyways, he took my father out. This was a long time ago. This is probably 2008, somewhere in there, 2005, 2008. And he came in at night. And he ran the river aside from the slow-mo areas where you had to power down and the wake zones, no wake zones. I ran the river at 40 miles an hour, all on radar and GPS, completely blind. He did it with me too. And I was like, you're a freaking idiot, dude. But yeah, and you know that river, right? Yeah, freaking, my dad pissed himself. He's like, I'll never get on this boat with you again if you ever do that. So, scared him half to death. My dad was, older. He was in his 70s at the time. So kind of a funny story there. If there's a breaking station, go ahead. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving, K1GMM.
Thanksgiving here in Snow Accuse, where we have some heavy wet snow coming down, maybe for about the last hour. But good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody's doing well. This morning, good to be in here. Was considering getting the balun hooked up. I actually experimented with this last evening. That was my foot slipping off the switch, not a DIY trip out, which could happen this morning as the antenna gets heavier and heavier with wet, slushy snow. Anyways, good morning. Having a hard time hearing Chris, even into the Vermont web SDR. However, hearing you, Steve, quite well. So, Steve, if you end up being the one that turns it to me, or maybe if George gets in here, I can hear you guys quite well, typically locally. Anyways, good morning, and over to Chris, AJ1G. It's K2 XAM here in the group.
Yeah, Paul's in here too.
KC2 CKO is going to get a cup of coffee.
Hey, good morning, you weirdo. K1GMM. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Steve. Yeah, that river, if you don't know what you're doing, there's especially just south of Norwest and just about across from the cemetery on the cemetery be on your left heading out westerly. There's some big sandbars in there. I remember, and you might even remember it too. It's been a few years ago. Someone put a I don't recall what exactly it was. It was not a center cockpit boat, but someone put a boat on a bar there. It sat there for, God, at least a year, I think, before it was ever removed. I don't know why they let it stay there. Yeah, you got to watch the channel markers in there for sure. You can. There's a lot of shallow water out of the channel, and it twists and turns there. It's not an easy approach. Yeah, Avondale Boatyard. Yep, Avondale Boatyard. I lived right across the street from it at 50 Avondale Road when we were first married in 1976. My college roommate, and actually he's he's Silent Kino, unfortunately, Rick, KM1G. His parents had a house right across from the boatyard at 50 Avondale Road. They lived upstairs, and the downstairs they rented out as an apartment, and it became available right after we got married. We were actually living uptown in Narragansett Avenue in Westerly, and we moved down there. We were only in there for moved out the following spring because I ended up in Saratoga at the West Milton site. That was when I went up there in 1977, spring of 1977. That was a beautiful spot. It was really nice. You hear the rhythm of the halyards banging on the mast of the sailboats at night, and we could ride our bikes down to Watch Hill. It was a beautiful spot, and yeah, the boatyards are still a going concern. All those houses there have gotten very, very expensive. The house next to us, this little old lady lived in. Someone bought the property, a beautiful little Cape Cod, tore it down and built some other monstrosity right there. And yeah, it's incredible what the places along the river. Any waterfront property down here has really gone through the roof. Morning to Kevin. Morning to Paul. Yeah, Paul must be cooking something up there, Chef Paul. You know, what's cooking down here? Diane made 2 pecan pies. We're not traveling far, Steve. Ben lives in Westerly, which is about a 10-minute drive. Oh, he's over by the airport in Westerly, just past the airport on Route 1. You're probably familiar. You've been down here. You kind of know where that is. His property fronts on the east side of the airport property, south side of Route 1. So that's an easy drive. Anyhow, let me keep it going. I don't know if it goes back to you, goes back to Paul, goes back to Kevin. I think it goes back to you, Steve. K1GMM in the group, AJ1G.
Okay, say good morning to Kevin. Hey, and yeah, it's raining here, Kevin. We were just talking about, I was mentioning to Chris, I wouldn't be surprised to see our power go out because I know it is going to thump up top. And our power comes over the mountain. So I'm trying to avoid a logistical nightmare with the turkey if the power goes out. So have to have a little chat with the wife. It's raining down on the valley floor here. And I think it's probably going to rain most of the day. I don't think it's going to snow, but up above 1,000 feet, I've heard, yeah, they're going to get friggin' clipped pretty good. They'll probably get a foot. And if it's heavy, it's going to be a mess. So, power will go out. Most likely not till maybe 3 this afternoon. I think that's when the heaviest stuff is coming in. Anyways, put it over to Paul. Check to see if Paul is back, Kevin. Wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Check to see, wait for Paul to come back, and if not, I guess you pick it up. And good morning, K1GMM.
KC2CKO. Let me see if I've got it here. Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me here. It's snowing here, the first snow of the season. So I did duck out, go upstairs and get a cup of coffee, and came right back. But the wood stove down in the basement is going. Put a pot of coffee on. Let's see if the wife gets up here. So yesterday I wasn't feeling too good. I was kind of had a headache and kind of vertigo. So I spent most of the day in bed. So much for that. But I feel better today. And maybe I'm in the mood to do some baking. We'll see. Well, no big meal tonight. No big turkey or anything else. It's just the wife and I. So I might just do something simple. But back to the group. KC2CKO. Over.
All right. Well, good morning to Paul. And hope you're doing better today. Definitely no fun feeling under the weather, so to speak. Yeah, we're only supposed to get a trace to 2 inches of snow, they're saying, but it's a heavy, sloppy, wet mess. Second snow here, I think we had some last week that ended up being quite an interesting challenge here to keep the DIY rig running into that situation as well. I'm watching a couple of watt meters, one directly connected to the antenna tuner and then one right on the back of the DIY. And there it goes. It's creeping up as the antenna probably gets more and more crap on it. Not much of a big meal here either. I did get at Wegmans Supermarket. This turkey in a bag takes about an hour to cook, so it must be somewhat pre-cooked, I'm guessing. And then got a box of stovetop stuffing. Picked up some asparagus yesterday, and that'll probably be it. Oh, and cranberry, the jellied cranberries, which I kind of like. My son does not like turkey, so he will more than likely go outside in the snow and fire up the barbecue grill and make himself steak before he heads out to work. He's actually working this afternoon.
Hey, good morning.
I think his normal 3 to 11
at this hour
type of shift, but I'm not really planning on doing a whole lot today, other than eating and maybe playing ham radio quite a bit today. Chris, question for you: when you do end up taking it, West Milton. Somebody asked me the other day. I was trying to describe to them what they did at West Milton, but I didn't really know.
Oh, you're kidding me, Tim. Jeez, you got family right in Saratoga? Yeah, that's right over the mountain from me, dude. Right on the backside of the Equinox. Good old racetrack. I don't know if you've ever been to the racetrack, Tim.
Situation at West Milton, I knew it was something nuclear. But beyond that, I didn't know, and I didn't know if that was involved with Capel at General Electric in like Niskayuna or somewhere over in that direction. Wondering if I can have a little bit of clarification on it for my own mental illness, I guess. So Paul turned it to me. Am I turning it to Chris? That is the $1 million question. And maybe others are waking up and getting in here. So whoever knows they're supposed to take it, I know I'm supposed to take it after Paul. Whoever knows they're supposed to take it, go ahead. And good morning and happy Thanksgiving all the way around. K2XAM.
Yeah, I think it goes to you, Steve, but yeah, I got your question, Kevin. I'll answer it when it's my turn.
No, I think it goes to you. Go ahead and answer that, and then I got a comment for Kevin regarding what he just asked you. Go ahead, Chris, K1G, and then I'll put it to Paul, K1GMM.
Yeah, okay, and Paul certainly knows what is out there because he worked out there as a welding inspector. And he might have even been there when I was here in 77. So, no, it absolutely is related to Capel. What it is actually it's a laboratory. Well, what it is, it's a several prototype reactor, actual operating reactors that are maintained by the Navy. They originally built for like design verification, and what we built back in the 1977-80 time frame and tested was the Trident submarine class reactor that GE developed for the government. It's a government-owned site operated by Capel, which is now known. They're not owned by GE anymore. They got bought out by someone else in the last few years, and they're now called the National Nuclear Laboratory or something like that. There's a couple of them. They're in now. And yeah, so basically you got half of a Trident submarine. The back end, you have the reactor and the engine room. It's, essentially the complete shebang. And it was built, first to verify the thing worked right, and then they now use it to train reactor officers, nuclear officers, and nuclear enlisted guys, the reactor operators, and machines mates, electrician mates. They all go to school there basically, and they actually learn how to operate reactors on those test reactors up there. They've been around since the late 50s, I think. And the last one built there, as far as I know, was the one that we worked on, the 8G project there. So that's what's out there in the woods on Atomic Project Road. You can actually see that on Google Earth. Well, you can't on Google Street View. The camera stops at like the past there's about a mile out from the actual plant.
Boy, there's some
you go
bad
up on a
QSB this
satellite
morning.
view, you can see
Conditions are real
all
crap.
the buildings there and cooling towers and all that stuff. So that's what's out there in West Milton. I don't even know if there is a Milton. I only know of West Milton. I don't think there's any other Miltons out there in the woods. And I guess over the years, there's less woods and less farms and more houses out that way. I actually done some Google Street View drives around. I recreated my drive to and from work to see how I'm looking, and things have definitely changed a lot. So that's what's going on. And I over to Steve, K1GMM and EJ1G.
Okay, dragged it a little bit in case somebody else wanted to pop in. K1GMM, real quick, I think, what's the CAPL, that's the acronym for Knowles Atomic Power Labs, correct? Somebody can confirm that for me. My wife took them a very long time. She worked for 27 years as a consultant, senior consultant, and they were able to get in there. This was, oh gosh, wow, I would say mid-2000s. Mid to late 2000s, I think. Did a lot of work in there with training. What they did was, which she was primarily responsible for, was doing a lot of training with HR departments and stuff like that, setting them up, different companies, corporations. But took her and her boss a long time to get in there. And holy crap. She told me about the security and stuff like that. It was completely ridiculous. Not ridiculous, it's good. They had to do it, but yeah. I was like, wow. I can't remember how many months. Took her 6 or 9 months to get access clearance to go in there. Long process. Paul. Yeah, over to Paul. And you can keep going with this. And then I guess it goes back to Kevin, KC2CKO, K1GMM.
K1GMM, KC2CKO back. Yeah, I've been in there quite a few times. Actually, worked there for Electric Boat back in 1973 as a welding inspector. Actually, worked with the guys doing all the X-ray work, and I reviewed all the film for acceptance and maintained the film processor and all that crap. So, and then I was in there. I forget the last time, but I did. They rebuilt a few buildings. I was involved with the inspection on that, and they put up a few new buildings. I was involved with the inspection on that one, and then they were actually going to refuel the Trident prototype, and they put another pad in for another big crane. Basically, when they do a refueling, the whole reactor section is like one big unit. What they do is to just cut a hole in the top of the hull of the submarine or the part of it, and lift out the whole reactor section and just stick a new one in. So that's that. And I think I'm not gonna be in here. This will probably be my last one here. I'm gonna go upstairs and I might start doing some baking work. I've got the hots to do some more baking. Let me see if I can see how everything's going here. My power dropped off a little bit. The SWR is a little bit up here too. We've got snow here, so it's cold and snowy. And looking at the weather last night, I think we're in the band between 4 to 8 inches. So it looks like it just, if it shifts back either left or right about 5 miles, it depends on how much we're going to get. So, but there's my story. Back to the group. KC2CKO, over.
N2LJO. All right, and good morning there, George. And 7-3 to Paul. Paul, have a fine day, and have lots of fun baking. I guess you're probably baking more bread, and that'll be a fun thing. So enjoy the day. And Steve, yes, CAPL was Knowles Atomic Power Laboratory, the acronym. And, I grew up in that area, grew up in Burnt Hills. My mom, back in the 50s, had actually worked there at West Milton. She called it the Kessel Ring site. I'm not sure, Chris, if there was any significance to that, or maybe Paul knows. And it's really kind of crazy. I do the same thing, Chris, where I end up looking up places that I used to work in, transmitter sites particularly, and so forth, and kind of whenever possible, look through the streets and see what's changed. And also when a customer orders some stuff from us, parts, I pump their address into Google and kind of look more to see if it's a residential location or a commercial location, because UPS wants to know, and is up to date as the UPS program is. They don't always know if you're a residential or a commercial, and we get hit extra hard. I think it's like $10 more if it's a residential, and so I always want to look for that, so that we don't have to eat that. We just pass on the cost to the customer for the shipping and so forth. But sometimes it's neat, some of these radio stations in the middle of nowhere, to look at them and look at their little kind of hometown, if you know what I'm saying, using that Google Earth program. And let's see, no surprise that General Electric ended up selling that. General Electric's a pretty sorry company at this point. Back when my dad worked there in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and even the 80s, I mean, it was a really big deal. But towards the end of his time being there, it was even becoming a pretty sad company as a whole, and they were selling things off. I think they sold the electronics division to Thompson. I know they were making the GE Super Radios for a while. Appliances got sold to Black & Decker, and on it goes, and they just keep spinning stuff off, and I don't even know what General Electric is even left actually owning at this point, but certainly a fraction of its former glory, that's for sure. Anyways, let's see, what else? Over to George. I think I'll toss it over to George, and then George, you go ahead and pass it to Chris. So happy Thanksgiving, George and Gracie. And let's see, what is your call letters? N2LJO, K2XAM in the group.
All righty. K2XAM in the group, N2LJO. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Good to hear you all. Nice to be in here. Just sipping some coffee and waking up. Having a couple of little egg white spinach breakfast frittatas. Not tatas, frittatas. And Gracie's in the kitchen, up to her elbows in sausage meat and mushrooms and all kinds of stuff that she's working with. She was cooking last night. We're not having Thanksgiving here, but where we're going, which is very close, she usually brings a lot of stuff. So, and 7-3 to Paul. Hope you have a good day. Sounds like you're going to get some snow up yonder way. Better ye than me. And General Electric, well, lately I've been in and out of a few CAT scan machines and MRIs. It seems their name is always on it. So I think they're geared more. I think they make locomotives. I tell you, they make a lot of. They're a big monster. Pretty sure a lot of the diesel electric locomotives are made by them. And they still make, or at least they have their name on a lot of appliances. And even though I had one bad experience, I don't really blame them that much. Their appliances seem to be pretty reliable to me. With what I've experienced personally over the years, I think I have we still have a dryer that I bought when I bought the house 19 years ago, and it still works. and it gets used, believe me, between her and I, and the amount of laundry for just for two people that we produce. And of course, they bought RCA, right? I believe. I don't think they've sold it. Did they have their name on the RCA bill? I don't remember, but I know they had their own building. Letterman used to go down there and break their chops when Letterman was funny and apolitical, and I used to watch him. Anyway, I will send it to Chris, say good morning, and we'll keep this thing going around here. AJ1G in the group N2LJO.
Yeah, good morning, George. Good morning, Gracie. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And oh yeah, that's a thing around here on Thanksgiving morning. Frittata is over in Westerly, Italian. Well, actually, Pawcatuck is also a lot of Stonington's Italian too. We got the Sicilians here and the Calabrese in Westerly, and also the Portuguese over here in Stonington, all the fishermen. Anyhow, the frittatas, that's a big thing. Everyone goes, there's a couple of restaurants that make them, and people going to the Stonington Westerly football game, which is going to be at Stonington this year. It's going to be a good game, but it's going to be raining. I know I was thinking of going if it didn't rain, but if it's going to rain, I don't think I'm going to go. I'll listen to it on the radio. And yeah, frittatas, get your frittatas and then head over to the game. Those are good. So, yeah, we're going over to Sun Ben's at around 1 o'clock. I think they might go to the game. Well, if the weather's, I don't know if they're going to go if it rains either. You know, Ben teaches at Stonington, lives in Westerly. His kids are in Westerly schools. They'll be
Freaking
pretty soon. They'll be
freezing.
Well, two of them are in junior high now, and pretty soon they'll be probably they're on the junior high sports teams. They'll be on Westerly sports teams soon, probably high school sports in a couple of years. And I think both, like Ben had texted me, both of the boys are on AAU traveling basketball teams. They're called Rhody Rams, and I guess, geez, that'd be something. They both had, I wouldn't be surprised if the kids end up at URI because it's affordable, and they are Rhode Island residents. That'd be cool. And Diane and I, of course, are URI grads. But for me, that was 50 years ago, and Diane will be 50 next year, which is also our anniversary. We got married right after she graduated college. No, 76. It'll be 2 years. Anyhow, so that's what's going on. Yeah, Knowles, Capel, Knowles Atomic Power Lab. GE used to do lots of things. They used to build radios there. My BC 191 says General Electric, Schenectady, New York. The Alexanderson alternator that you can watch videos on. And by the way, that transmission is like 0430 or 0330 Sunday morning our time. And if you don't do anything else, watch the YouTube video in the live stream. They'll light it up, and they'll probably be showing you meters that say General Electric, Schenectady, New York, right on it. That's where those Alexanderson alternators were made. So there you go. Let's see. I guess it goes over to Steve, I think. I was turning it to Steve. K1GMM in the group, AJ1G.
Okay, I'll say good morning to George. Wish you a happy Thanksgiving there, and to LJO. And question for Chris when it comes around next time. Is Bucky's Bait and Tackle still there on Barn Isle Road on the way to Barn Isle? Just curious, man. I used to stop in there almost every time for a few years I didn't leave the boat in the water. So I'd leave it at Norwest on the trailer, hook it up, and head over to Barn Isle. So just curious if Bucky's is still there. And there was a place that had good burgers on the corner of Route 1 as you head down that road that Norwest is on. There was a little bar right there on the left-hand side. If you're going north on Route 1 before you head under the trestle, bang a right there, and there was a little bar. We used to head up there all the time. We'd come in, go up and get something to eat. Kind of a divey place. Had good burgers, though. Love the burgers. Anyways, probably because the grill was so filthy. Anyways, geez, it was something. Oh gosh, there was something else. Oh, flippin' heck. There's one more thing, and it was for, oh, yeah, I remember. Jerry, W1JWC, a friend of mine, he's down on 3615 pretty much every day. Every morning. He's probably down there right now. He wrote circuitry for the Boomers, electrical circuits. Worked for GE, retired from there, actually. Smart freaking guy, boy. I'll tell you that. He's a little scary. And self-taught, too, which is quite remarkable. Talk about shattering a glass ceiling. Paul, I don't know if you're still there. If you are, grab it. And if you're listening, have a great... I thought you were going to sign. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great day. If not, over to Kevin, K1GMM.
Heard from Paul. I guess he signed out. Yeah, some pretty incredible stuff happened at GE over the years. I'm just looking, did a basic internet search. You can General Electric Wikipedia. They have a whole bunch of stuff that's written out, but just since 2018, in 2018, S&P Dow Jones indices announces that another company will replace General Electric in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, effective prior to trading on June.
Hey, Christian, what's up, Captain?
2019, GE sells GE Transportation to Wabtec and terminates ownership of former said company after 112 years of ownership. 2021, GE announces split of the company into three separate concerns: GE Healthcare, GE Vernova, and GE Aerospace, with the healthcare and energy Vernova divisions being spun off and the company pivoting to aviation by rebranding as GE Aerospace. 2023, GE completes spin-off of GE Healthcare. And in 2024, GE completes the spin-off of GE Vernova. The company is now known as GE Aerospace and ceases to exist as a conglomerate. The General Electric name retired after 130 years. So, yeah, General Electric is really sad. I mean, you know, back when I was a kid, everything in our house pretty much said General Electric on it. We did have a Hot Point, I think, refrigerator and stove, which was also a General Electric, maybe subsidiary, or I don't know what the situation was, but all in all, Hot Point and General Electric, pretty much the same deal, I think. So, and even one of the teachers at school said, you know, if General Electric made cereal, we'd be eating General Electric cereal for breakfast. That's how much, you know, General Electric was so entrenched in the Schenectady area, as me being a kid growing up in the 70s. But it's just not that way anymore. It's and I don't know. I look back on it and it's kind of sad. And even my dad and I talked about this a number of years ago. The General Electric in Schenectady, I think at its height, might have employed something like 30,000 people. And probably something like 10, 15 years ago, they were maybe down to 5,000 people. So quite a drastic change. Just in that particular company. Probably not that company alone. Probably a lot of other companies as well. Anyway, on over to George, N2LJO, K2XAM in the group.
I saw a little carrier there with no audio. Is there someone trying to join?
N2FR1.
Yeah, we got to turn the audio up a little bit there, OM. Give it another try, and I'll get you in when I'm done. I just want to know who it is.
F-R-Y.
Anybody else have a copy on him? Yeah, I don't think anyone's hearing you there. Sorry about that. I could see you on my scope, but can't really make you out. I don't know if that's Paul from the afternoons with the half a dipole on the ground. Maybe that's you. Not sure. Anyway, General Electric. Yeah, Kevin, you're right. Everything growing up, the iron my mother used, and sometimes my father. The little portable AM radio that was my best friend for years while I would be out, quote unquote, playing on the block or at the parade grounds, which was adjacent to Prospect Park, where all the baseball diamonds were. Very often, with most of the games being on during the day, we'd be playing baseball and listening to it at the same time. That little radio was in my pants pocket in grammar school, with a hole in my pocket and the earphone running under my clothes. Tucked my ear on the side that sister couldn't see. Listening to, actually, the start of the ball games, because the ball games used to start at 1 o'clock, and we didn't get out till 2 o'clock, unless it was Wednesday, when we got out at 12 o'clock, because we had the non-Catholic school kids that were going for their communions came to my school to get religious instruction. So I had that radio in my pocket like an undercover baseball fan. And God knows what else we had. I think our TV was General Electric, a black and white, like a console TV. So many things. And I did not know that they retired the name. I'm going to have to look at that Wikipedia entry and give it a read. That's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. I wonder what the origins were. But on another note, looks like the president, El Presidente of Mexico, has agreed already now, real time, today, to stop the flow, stop the caravans, and turn them away from our border. Gee, I wonder why. Trump announced 25% tariffs on everything coming out of Mexico. And then she probably got advice from Barack Obama. Well, you tell him you're going to put tariffs back on everything that they ship. And then they did the math and realized that about half their economy is dependent on things they send to us, and about 2% of our economy is dependent on things we send to them. And she did a quick about face, and now I think the flow of undocumented Democrats through the border is finally going to stop. We'll see. It's amazing how elections have consequences. It's a beautiful thing. A lot to be thankful for this year, that's for sure. Okay, Chris, AJ1G, and the group N2LJO. I don't know if you were copying that station. I could see him on the scope, and I could tell he was talking, but I couldn't hear a thing he was saying. AJ1G and the group N2LJO.
It's N2FRY is the guy that's in there. It's Eddie.
Well, I couldn't make him out at all. Conditions are real squirrely today. Paul was almost fading out of my receiver, and everybody else is a little bit lighter than they normally are. So if you want to give Eddie a try, Kevin, let Chris go, I guess, and take it from there.
Yeah, okay. I'll turn it over to the fry guy from Crisco, fat in the can. Oh man, make the fries out of the Crisco. Yeah, boy, that's something I haven't thought about. Well, yeah, they used to call it release time, and I was on both sides of that fence. I forget how that worked at St. Anthony's and Nanuet. I know the public school kids came in at some point, but I don't remember it affecting our schedule. But I also remember I left there in sixth grade and went to the Clarkstown school system in seventh grade, junior high and up. And I remember going to release time. You get on the bus, and it was actually during your part of your normal school hours. So I forget where we went. I don't know if it was St. Anthony's or maybe it was like Albertus Magnus, or probably Albertus Magnus, which was up in Bardonia on 304. And, or maybe it was, I'm trying to think, up in New City, there was a parish too. And that was Albertus Magnus Parish, I think. And then the school was down in Bardonia. That's what it was. We used to go somewhere for that. I don't remember going much. Maybe I skipped it. I don't know. I got enough of it. I do remember we had confirmation. If you went to St. Anthony's, you were confirmed in fourth grade, and then the public school kids, they had to wait till sixth grade. And I think we had a joint confirmation classes or something like that, and it was very weird. You're like, we were fourth graders, and all these kids that they were a lot older looking. Kind of, I do remember that, like two different, they seemed like, like teenagers to us, No, that's a long time ago. That's for sure. St. Anthony's. I remember there were 60 people in my first grade class. We were jammed in there like sardines. And I remember at that point, I think I was the only kid. The West Nyack Elementary School had bus service, and we had bus service to St. Anthony's. But you could almost walk it. It was about 2 miles up the road. I had to walk almost half that distance to catch a bus on Route 59A, the West Nyack Road, out of my neighborhood, Parkway Drive. I have to walk. Imagine this. I was in first grade, walked a half a mile to my bus stop and back by myself. I was escorted by my parents. I think if that was now, I was the parent and my kid was doing that, they put me in jail. And I did hear that about. Wow, it's amazing how things are going to change hopefully. And I'm debating whether or not to say I'm thankful about it. If we do, what we're thankful for this Albert Benson. He's a teacher, and I've never heard a good thing about Trump come out of his mouth. He's got a certain amount of Trump derangement syndrome there. Anyhow, especially during COVID, I remember hearing a lot from him about it. It's kind of funny because his best friend, who was got his own electrical business now, he got smart over the years, and he's actually, he and his wife are very active in the local Stonington Republican town committee. All right, let's see. Let's see if Teddy the Fry guy, I don't know if it's here. Is he the guy with the dipole on the ground? Maybe that's why I'm not hearing him. N2FRY in the group, AJ1G. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
If you're not too fried, go ahead and pick it up.
FRY, Chris is pretty light into my station. I'll give you good. But anyway, Kevin, I just wanted to. You guys are big things are going on, so I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving and just quickly ask you what are you doing for Turkey Day today.
All right, I don't know if everybody heard. Eddie's wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and wanted to know what I'm doing today. So I'm going to play ham radio. So sometime later.
I have a question. Why the frick would anybody try and jump in on AM, seeing as how it takes a lot of power sometimes? Running a freaking dipole on the ground. Really? What am I missing? I don't know.
Top stuffing. And that's my day, I think. I'm going to try to sit here and do as little as possible and watch the snow come down. Let's see. I don't think we've heard from Steve in quite a while. Am I right? Am I missing anybody? Steve, are you still here? K1GMM, K2XAM in the group.
Thank you, Kevin. My goodness. The K1GMM often overlooked. Wah, wah, wah. Anyways, FRY, wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And name is Steve over here in Southwest Vermont. Calls Kilo 1 Golf Mike if you can hear me. And I do hear you, but it's just in and out. The band is squirrely, whoever said that. It's very odd. I'm watching signals go from like 25 to 30 over to like 10 over. I mean, it's been doing that the entire time for like the past, almost an hour. Weird. Anyways, had a quick comment, and then I'm going to duck out of here. I'm going to put everything in park, and maybe if Kevin or somebody, you guys are still around, I'll jump back in. But I got to go touch base with Lisa because it's 20 of 8. Just one quick comment about the border thing. I think it was you, George. And you know what popped into my head? I thought, I wonder if Mexico is panicking because we're going to ship all these idiots back to them. Trump's going to deport their you-know-whats. So I wonder if they're panicking over that too. And yeah, what he said, he's going to round up these criminals and stuff like that, and he's going to drop them over the border and then slam the freaking door shut. So let Mexico deal with it. I don't know. Maybe he'll deport them back to the origin countries. Who freaking knows? But I wonder if they're panicked. They're panicked over that. Talk about a destabilizing force in Mexico. Can you imagine that one? Yeah, that'd be a problem. Anyways, which is exactly what should happen. Let them deal with it. They're the ones that, they're allowing it. Well, we're allowing it too, but whatever. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And we'll see anybody in a bit if you're still around. It's going to take a little bit. I got to go over some things upstairs. We got to get a game plan in case power goes out, which I'm anticipating. And I'm going to check to see if it's snowing. Where's it going, man? Usually I put it back to you, Kevin. So I'll put it back to you and maybe see you in a bit. K1GMM.
And KC2, CKO back.
Okay, Paul, go ahead and take it. And then turn it back to me, and I'll turn it over to the Fry guy. I know we're getting way out of rotation here, but I think the band is nuts. So I've been hardly able to hear Chris most of the morning, and on his last transmission towards the end, he was strapping. And
all right, you guys, I am going to tuck tail and run. I'm going to leave it running here because things may get a little spicy. I don't know. But I do have to run upstairs. I have some things that are very important I got to deal with. I don't know. I got to figure this out. Lisa's not going to be happy with me. I'm going to let it run for a little bit, and we'll hopefully see you guys in a little bit. I may jump back in. All right, I'm going to kill my audio and bring the audio back online. Here we go. Kalita Air. Must be... Oh, yeah, no kidding, Tim. That they will lose a big government shot. These guys are all... They're going to friggin' prison, man. Kalita Air? Heck yeah. All these scumbags that have been doing this... I've been looking at reports of this. If anybody thinks that they've been doing this, the busing companies, the airlines flying these people all over the country, they know what they were doing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'll be amazed if I ever see it, to be honest with you. I doubt it, but it's fun to think about. Based upon what I'm seeing, I think people are starting to panic. These people are starting to panic because they know what's supposedly coming. I'll say allegedly coming. Nobody knows for sure, really, right? But we'll see, is all I can say. And if it happens, it will be one freaking glorious event, as well as many others. I'll be back in a little bit.
Et cetera, et cetera. N2FRY, K2XAM.
Okay, yeah, it's getting pretty large there. Kevin, real quick, is my audio okay on this thing? Am I loud enough at all?
You know, you need about a rack of audio processing like George has, and then we'll be able to hear you maybe.
Well, to happy Thanksgiving, sir, and everyone else on the frequency. And I can only hear you. Last station that just popped in there, I heard him fine, Steve, I believe, and very good. So I wish you guys good day, and yeah, the snow is going to be coming down here. Apparently, it's going to get pretty bad. They're expecting 4 to 5 feet, 7 feet of snow up on the Tug Hill. The beginning of snowmobile season up there, but we'll see how that goes. I'll be up there this weekend working on one of the big tractors they use for clearing the trail, for doing the trails. I gotta do some radio work on it. All right, Kevin, I'll pass it back to you and pass it to where it's got to go. I think you're the only one hearing me, I guess. N2FRY 73.
All right, I don't know if anybody else can hear Ed. George, I think it's been a while since we've ended up hearing from you, and then maybe turn it to Chris.
Excuse me. Yeah, the order got all screwed up. I'm going to make this one my last and say 7-3 and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. But I've got a few things here. Paul, I'm jealous of the snow, actually. It's, it would suck in one regard, but in the other, it would be nice and pretty to look at. And there's something about being home, nice and warm, with the pellet stove going, with the snow outside, looking out the window and talking on the radio. I don't know. And Steve, Texas has made available, I believe it's 1,500 acres as a transfer station to get the undocumented Democrats out of the country. So I don't know if they're going to fly them back, just get them over the border and hand them back to Mexico and say, here, this is your problem. Knowing us, as benevolent as we are, probably going to want to fly them back to their countries of origin. But I guess theoretically, if some of that acreage in Texas is on the border, they could just open up the gate and send them back the other way. Adios, Alpha Mike Foxtrot. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I know some of the countries, when Trump was sending them back last time, some of the countries resisted until Trump pointed out that, we give you $700 million a year in aid. You might want to rethink rejecting these people. And all of a sudden, yes, Mr. Trump, please, we'll welcome them with open arms. A lot of these I think they're going to wind up going back to the countries of origin. I don't know if we're going to do that to Mexico, but I could see them being in panic about that. But either way, it's a beautiful thing. I heard that all those Haitians in Ohio are self-deporting. The ones in that town, what was it, Springfield, where they were eating the cats and dogs, and they criticized Trump for saying that. So we'll see. It's a lot to be thankful for today. And Chris, St. Anthony's, that's my school in Brooklyn, was Holy Cross, and it was 12 o'clock. We got out on Wednesdays, and I think that only went through the 6th grade, because by the 6th grade we were already confirmed, and I guess any of the other kids coming in would have been confirmed. And I think they used all the same teachers, so they couldn't keep some of us. And Clarkstown, New City, I just had a closing Wednesday. Nice check on Overhill Lane. You might want to, I'll send you the link if you want to look at it. Really nice house. I don't know if that little development was there when you were there, but I don't remember exactly when the houses were built. My school, my grammar school, when I started there, 1st grade to 8th grade was about 40 kids in every classroom and 3 sections. So you had, 3A, 3B, 3C, and then later they made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3. So you had about 120 kids in each grade times 8 grades was damn near 1,000 kids. And at the end, going back 15, 18, 19 years ago, I was on a lay advisory board going down to Brooklyn trying to keep the school open. And they had 150 kids all together. And that's because that area down there, you have all these storefront churches, probably half of them legit and probably half of them tax scams. But, you know, the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Christ and Aluminum Siding Incorporated. So with all those storefront churches siphoning people away from the church, they didn't have a lot of kids in the school, and they wound up having to close the school. And Kevin, stovetop stuffing, oh man, I'm going to sick RFK on you. There was a big article yesterday, not kidding. I think it was on the Post website. If you Google it, just put stovetop stuffing banned in other countries. It was a big article. Thanksgiving staple banned in other countries. You might want to rethink that and get yourself a loaf of stale bread and do it the old-fashioned way, because from what I read, I just glanced over the story. Apparently, there are carcinogens in the stovetop stuffing, and that's why other countries, it didn't say which, or if it did, I didn't pick up on it, which countries have banned stovetop stuffing. So you might want to get yourself a baked potato. I hope I didn't ruin your Thanksgiving. All right, I'm not sure. I gave it to Chris last time. I'll give it to Chris again, and I'll listen out here for a minute or two. I won't throw the switches. But there is a group at 8 o'clock I haven't been in with in a few days, and I want to wish them happy Thanksgiving. So I'll say 7-3 to everybody here, and happy Thanksgiving, and we'll likely catch you mañana, God willing. AJ1G in the group, N2LJO.
And to LJO and the group AJ1G. Yeah, well, yeah, it made me think of my Thanksgiving past stuffing fiasco. About 10 years ago now, maybe. I don't know what it was. We were going up to Sundays for Thanksgiving, and we were detailed with providing this stuff. Well, it probably was stovetop stuffing. Bring stuffing, made outside the bird as opposed to inside the bird. And a couple of weeks before, and Diane bought up a bunch of boxes of stovetop stuffing, and it was left in the paper shopping bag down somewhere where we would normally also keep in paper bags paper recyclables. And at one point, not too long after she bought that stuff, I did a dump run, and I did not know it at the time, but I grabbed the paper bag full of the stovetop stuffing and tossed it in the recyclable bin along with the paper recyclables. That was not apparent, though, until the night before Thanksgiving when Diane was going to make it. Hey, Chris, where's the stuffing? Go get it. It's down in the basement. It's right next to where the recyclables are. And I said, oh, shit. And sure enough, I went down there. I fess up to her. Hey, I think I threw those out. You what? and this was, after the stores had closed on Wednesday night. And imagine trying to find a grocery store even open on Thanksgiving morning, which I set out about 7 o'clock. It was like a bad dream, and I couldn't wake up. Everywhere I went, closed. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I finally found like a little convenience store, gas station place that had some. God knows how old it was, but with all those carcinogens, it probably was still probably edible, at least as far as the United States was concerned. And paid a very high, probably twice the normal price for it, but I did finally recover from.
Okay, guys, I got to go. It is coming up to 8 o'clock. Wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving who's watching from stateside. And I got to go down and get my mother pretty soon, and we got to get the ball rolling on the turkey because we'll most likely lose power. It's coming down pretty good. It's not even supposed to be heavy until this afternoon. So I would say by 2-3 o'clock, we're going to lose power. So, with that being said, have a good one, you guys. Thanks for stopping in. Just wanted to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I have a couple little videos coming. Kill the amplifier. A couple little videos coming. One is on a particular device I picked up. It's very cool. And it's going to be a quick little video, but it's amazing. Worth every penny. And we'll see how I'll have that done probably in the next, who knows. I may put it up later today if the power's still on, or tomorrow or something like that, but it's coming soon. Both videos are. All right. Have a good one. We'll catch you later.